Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and I know at the end of my clones video I said we'd be doing some more Titans Return videos, but that was because I didn't look at my calendar correctly. I almost forgot that we had one more Friday in July to cover. So before we move off to another month of Titans, we're going to take a look at a quick little Decepticon that's worth looking at. We have here the Decepticon Assault Team Flywheels. Now, Flywheels came out in 1987. He would also briefly be available in 1988 before being discontinued. Flywheels is a special type of Decepticon known as a Duocon. That is a robot that splits his personality and body between two different vehicles, a ground vehicle and an air vehicle. Of course, the name Flywheels has fallen out of favor with Hasbro, or they've lost the trademark to it, as the modern versions of this toy, including the one recently released for the Siege War for Cybertron line, now has him called Skytread. And that is a considerably more fitting name, as you can see here along the sides of his legs and feet, he does not have wheels, but treads. So, Flywheels did not make a lot of sense. It's often been speculated by fans that Flywheels and his partner in crime, Battletrap, had the names switched on them in production, which somewhat makes sense, as Flywheels would be better associated with the toy that we got for Battletrap, since the lower vehicle is based off of a truck. So, hence, Flywheels would have worked better on the Battletrap toy, and Flywheels here would have probably been better off with the Battletrap name. But it is what it is, as during the Power of the Primes line, Battletrap did get re-released as a new type of Duocon, a Duocon Combiner, where he was formed from the two robots Battle Slash, a helicopter, and Road Trap, a truck. And if there's enough fan demand, maybe I'll show those two off to you. Or if we decide to do a Power of the Primes theme month, who knows? We'll worry about that later. But right now, let's take a look here at Flywheels. Of course, a little more history about the Duocons is that according to the More Than Meets the Eye guides, the Duocons were intended to be a prototype of the Triple Changers. They were designed by Shockwave. But Shockwave wasn't entirely impressed with the results and moved on to a different project. Battletrap and Flywheels were the only ones to survive his experiments. Now, of course, as you can see, he does hold his gun a little weird. Since, as you can see here from the side, he's holding it from the butt instead of by the grip. That's because of the way his arms are positioned. For articulation, they can only raise up about that far, and they rest down against his hips. So this is the only way for Flywheels to properly hold his gun. If he holds it by the grip, like normal, he winds up holding his gun sideways and cannot aim it properly at other Transformers. Otherwise, the only other bits of articulation that he has is that he can bend at the hip like so, and he can rock backwards at his ankles. But those aren't meant to hold him, and they do spring back. into their proper positions. Well, you lean back like that. If you lock it down with the tail of the plane, he will stay back. But it's not really meant to be played with like that. To transform Flywheels, well, it's a pretty simple approach. If we don't bump the camera again, that's better. To transform him, we'll need to separate the vehicles. The easy way to do that is we take the nose of the plane, fold it and his head up and above until they connect, and then we detach the plane like so. We'll fold the arms down to the sides, raise up the gun that was in the middle of the chest, fold the whole body downward, and then raise the upper portion and bring it down until it snaps into place. And there's one alternate mode. There's the other one. Flywheels becomes a tank and a jet fighter. I'm not sure what they said that the tank is based off of, but it's kind of more of a futuristic tank. Some fans believe that the jet takes some inspiration from a MiG, and that's possible, but again, it also looks a little more futuristic to exactly be a Russian MiG aircraft. So I'm going to have to pass on it being like that. This will take a look at the tank first of all. And of course, due to the way the tank is set up to be, the turret does not rotate. Like I said earlier, that may be on the modern toy an homage to the original unintentionally, due to the fact that it can't be pivoted either. But at least on this version of Flywheels, you can raise and lower the gun. Whereas on the modern toy, since it's the actual guns used by the robot, you can't do anything with it. And of course, there is a hole up here where you can, if you wish, plug in the gun that he comes with for added firepower. Unfortunately, Flywheels does not roll on the ground as he has fake treads. So he pretty much just scoots along at your own pace. As for the airplane, on the top side here, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, this one's suffering from a bit of sticker wear, obviously. He saw a fair amount of adventures. Yeah, this one was one of mine from my private collection, so he was one from growing up, so he did see a lot of action. The biggest disappointment that I really have with this plane is the lack of any paint wear. I mean, you kind of expect it to a degree on a tank, but on the airplane, it would have been nice if they would have put at least a splash of color here on the cockpit a bit. That would have been nice. But then again, that would have meant that would justify Hasbro jacking the price up. And we all know how Hasbro is about doing that to us fans. Of course, the only time that the plane looks bad is when we look at the underside of the plane, and since it's more got the gimmicky stuff for the toy, it's pretty much hollow under here. But you also have the option that since there's a hole under the nose of the airplane, you can mount the gun down there, should you choose, but unfortunately, how it hangs down here, it kind of looks rather stupid. Since it hangs down further than the landing gear, it would mean, he can't sit down properly. He's sitting down basically on the back gear, but the front one can't come down due to the fact that he's resting on the gun. And the gun's equally silly looking mounted on the tank. But, oh well. But as far as airplanes go, he does swoosh pretty good. Unless, of course, this piece gets kind of loose on him. Now, of course, the gimmick is the fact that these two can transform automatically when you connect them together. The back landing gear and the central post between them basically line up with the holes here on the top of the tank. So you would basically just line them up, press down until you feel it click in and the nose pops down like that. And then once you let it go, he'll spring up. Just like that. I imagine that any of you showing this to your younger children, that might have been an impressive sight. For them, at least, not for us. Then you just fold the arms out, and there we go. He's ready to go. Now we'll take a look at Flywheels' lone accessory, and that is his laser gun. It's done up in the same magenta color as the airplane. And otherwise about it, really doesn't have much going for it. It's just an ordinary laser gun. Now, of course, believe it or not, back in the day, this toy was released in a box. So that means we had an instruction manual. As you can see here, it even lists him as a duocon. So yes, even a toy as simple as this still needed instructions. It shows you here how you can attach the gun. And how to transform him by merging them. And then on the back side, how to go in reverse. To turn him back into two vehicles. And then lastly, of course, how to put his stickers on. Something we all used to enjoy back in the day. And then, of course, here on the last page, we had how to rub the rub sign, save your robot points, and how to read your tech specs. Common features that we always had. Of course, now we got the tech spec right here. It's all done in purple to show he's a Decepticon. It even lists him as a Decepticon above his picture, as the picture there would have been the same as the front on the box. It gives his name as Flywheels, and his function is Assault Team. His motto is, believe in yourself, but only if you both agree. Split personality. Fights himself more often than his foes. Each half of him is jealous of the other, often heard arguing with himself, even when unified in robot mode. Tank has maximum speed of 75 miles per hour, range 350 miles. Jet has maximum speed of 1,300 miles per hour, range 1,800 miles. In robot mode, carries a laser cannon with infrared sensors for heat-seeking capabilities. And that points out one of the flaws about the duocons, is the fact that their spark is actually split between the two vehicles. Somehow, in the process of doing that for Flywheels, his personality got warped to the point that Now it's almost as if he's two independent characters in one body, making him a very mentally unstable character, and quite potentially a threat to the Decepticons as well. At any rate, let's take a look at his vital stats here with the decoder on. It gives his strength as 7, his intelligence is 4, his speed is 7, his endurance is 7, his rank is 6, his courage is 8, his firepower is also 8, and his skill is 6. So he is kind of a mixed bag when it comes to his vitals, but the ones that are more effective for his lasting on the battlefield are pretty good. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Flywheels? Well, Flywheels looks good in the sense that he fits with the Decepticons' ideals. He is a military vehicle, so it does make him work out pretty well as a member of the Decepticons and their militaristic style of dealing with things. That's why on the secondary market, Flywheels tends to be more popular than Battletrap. And that's the biggest reasoning why. The fact that in terms of just sheer looks, he looks like he belongs with the Decepticons. The problem is that the toy is very overly simplified. This is a very simple toy, even for the standards of what we were getting for Transformers back in the day. He is very, very simplified. This is the kind of toy you would get if your parents wouldn't buy you a triple changer. I never had any of the triple changers growing up as a child. I got this cheap guy and his partner in crime. But as you can see by the sticker wear on them, you can tell they were thoroughly enjoyed back in the day. But looking back on them now, it's hard to believe that they were enjoyed as much. The posability on the figures is poor. But, of course, here on Flywheels, he at least has it a little bit better. He can at least move his arms, unlike Battletrap, who can't move anything. So, in most respects, Flywheels is an okay toy. He looks like he fits in with the Decepticons, and he's got some of the stats to back it up. And due to the fact that there's new versions of him out there, under a different name, but still, it just goes to show that the toy is still popular, and still can find a place amongst the collector shelves of Transformer fans worldwide. And that concludes my review of the Generation 1 Decepticon Assault Team Flywheels. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please drop me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and join our ranks. Make sure to ring the bell so you'll get notified when I post new content. Also, I ask that you share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. That's what helps this channel grow. And also, share your thoughts about Flywheels in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying that next month we will do another 4 characters from the Titans Return toy line. Even though the card game has now officially been canceled, we're still going to take a look at some of those toys. So, I will catch you all later.